So I'd like to talk about how people can make guesses and certainty instead of assumptions and inferences, and effectively after that leads to demands and punishment. So if we look at these definitions from Google, an assumption means a thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof. Or 2, the action of taking on power or responsibility. So that ending, without proof, it means it doesn't base it on science. So if you make an assumption without evidence, it's dishonest, and it's you're so-called, so to speak, jumping the gun. You're making an evaluation without actual evidence. And people nowadays make assumptions very frequently, and it can get very deadly and violent as a result. So an inference as less powerful, do I say, or less dramatic, means a conclusion reached on the basis of evidence and reasoning, the process of inferring something. So if you make a conclusion, it sounds like it works effectively, doesn't it? But a problem that arises from this comes by making a conclusion when there could be more evidence, and evidence changes, science changes, theories change. So by coming to conclusions, when even if you have a high certainty, that still doesn't make it valid. Yes, it may work less harmfully or less erroneously than an assumption, but to infer if a person says one thing and you make an inference, but what they mean is based on different evidences than evidences that you base on, by reaching a conclusion without further analysis. And again, that can lead to violence and killing and lots of various harmful effects and actions. So now, a guess. What does a guess mean? An estimate, or suppose something without sufficient information to be sure of being correct. An estimate or conjecture. So based on what evidences present to your perspective, you can make a guess. And there's different definitions of types of guessing, like an educated guess versus like a superstitious guess. But what I mean by guess is to specify certainty. using a guess with a certainty. And we don't avoid making decisions. We will make decisions, but do those decisions deny others choice? And when people make assumptions and inferences, that leads to denying people's choice. If you use guesses and certainty, which I'll show you now, definition of certainty means firm conviction that something is the case, the quality of being reliably true, a fact that is definitely true, or an event that is definitely going to take place. And I will add to that, when we talk about certainty in mathematics, certainty is based on a scale of 0.01. You could argue 0 to 100, but you could say 0.01 to 99.99 repeated. And so you can make decisions based on your amount, your intensity of certainty. So certainty, a guessing of a certainty doesn't draw conclusions. If you have new evidences present themselves, then you can guess with more certainty or less certainty if those evidences invalidate your hypothesis. So, and the significance of this differentiation between how you make decisions can really profoundly affect outcomes of actions. And especially, for example, like a judicial system will make demands and punish people without direct evidence, and even if they have very accurate evidence, 99.9%, that's a different philosophical topic, whether or not punishment actually makes sense, which I don't agree it does. But when people make assumptions, they have a bias and an agenda. They already have a presupposed belief that they're going to basically result to ignorance. They will you will result to defense tactics, defense mechanisms, by making assumptions and inferences. And you will basically support your theory, even with invalidating evidence, which turns to dogma and doctrination and hierarchicalism, which will force others to do actions that they don't choose to do. So I could get deeper about it, but that's surface level about assumptions and inferences versus guessing and certainty. Thanks. I appreciate your attention. Bye.